Hello, I'm the Miami Autism Dad Victor Antunez, the inclusive My Realtor, and this is the Autism Podcast at Miami's Community Newspapers. Today I'm with Daniela Chaparro. She is a card specialist at UM-NSU CARD. With us, also with Daniel Carles. He is a parent and advocate. Daniel and I met at Just for Dads. It's an Autism Dads group at UM.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel so blessed to have been part of that group for like a year or two now. I forget it. Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and they are fun.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the fact that we get together, not only to talk about autism and our kids, it's just always a good opportunity to share those experiences. Yes. It's an amazing opportunity to share our feelings and how we feel about it, and that's why we need to invite every dad out there, every autism dad out there, to come and join us at the University of Miami and to be a part of that.
You know, I'm always recruiting for the group, and my personal experience for 6 months, I didn't go. Because, you know, you picture like a bunch of guys around, in a circle, like all like boo-hoo-hooing, like telling sad stories. Then you go, I know, but that's
we
what
have
I
pizza,
found.
beer, wine, snacks,
I know.
people, we talk sports, and then we talk autism.
And then we talk business.
Yeah. In the moms group, we're always wondering, what are these guys talking about that they come so happy, they come home so happy. Because when we do the moms group, which also CARD has a mom support group just for moms, we do laugh too. We do have wine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as fun though, I think. I don't know.
I think we have more fun.
You probably do.
So you guys are autism parents. You have a boy, Nico, 13 years old.
Yes.
So I told you earlier my daughter's story that she was born neurotypical and had a regression at 2, which is, I know now, is very common. What was your story with your boy?
I think you would say, Nico was born definitely autistic. That's the way his brain was wired. We just didn't know enough to know it at the time. But when you go back to videos, to photos, even though he was reaching some milestones, definitely, you can say that he had already that fixation in certain objects, that he was more, let's say he had more curiosity maybe in looking at something, very fixated in something and not the function of that object. Right from the get-go.
Repetitive behaviors
were there since he was a baby, and not so much the joint attention that you look for in a young kid that age or in a young baby. Like I would sing songs to him and he would be minding something else. So that joint attention wasn't there. It is there today. It has been developed, but it wasn't there. I think what hit us was that we went to Venezuela on a trip to visit our family. And that's when we got to see other kids that were the same age, other babies that were around, a year, 3 months, a year, 2 months, around that age. And it hit us how different he behaved in comparison to the others. Because we have an older son. He's now 20 and he was at the time, 7, 8. And that's when we started seeing, wow, this baby's always crying. There was nothing that would like keep him at ease or entertained. I don't know if you can remember something.
I remember also the constant crying, and also the lack of mirroring behavior. Like when you see a kid that young, he will repeat what you do. Like, I'm going to say like this, monkey sees, monkey does. He didn't react to something like that. So we knew something was, I'm going to say off, but then again, every kid is different. So we really needed to get like an understanding of what was happening. And that's when we got the...
And it was incredible to see how, and that's, I believe, children at a young age, when they're not bombarded by so many things and they don't have bias on anything, they just tell the truth, right? I told you we have an older son. So I happen to have a cousin that has a son that is autistic, and he's the same age as our older son, Rod. So Rodrigo was, he was raised along this autistic cousin that was very different, same age, but very different than him. And they wouldn't be able to engage together and play or anything. So they kind of, separated the autistic one and the neurotypical one. But Rodrigo always kind of remembered his cousin. So one day, Nico is engaged in this repetitive behavior of opening and closing the closet door, and once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then Rodrigo suddenly comes to me and says, "Mommy, don't you think that Nico is just like Santi, his cousin?"
That's amazing.
So he got it right there. It was a second, and in that moment, it snapped me like, "Oh my God, he's autistic." So that's when the evaluation started, and we started like pursuing the medical diagnosis. But it was so clear. There were so many things that were just very similar to that other child that we had seen as he was growing up. And every individual is absolutely different, but there are things that are just there that make you just identify those traits, and that's how it hit us. And we started and mind you, we had been taking Nico to the pediatrician, our amazing pediatrician, Raisa Cordero. She's great.
And was that in Venezuela or over here?
No, here in Miami. Yeah, he was born here, born and raised. So Raisa was always like, okay, let's see, he's a little behind, but every kid is different. But at some point, she was concerned, and then she referred us to a neurologist. And all of this happened at the same time. Like the story that I'm telling you about Rod happened at the same time that I already had a referral for a neurologist, but I was waiting for the appointment. So it was like that summer that everything like come to the big A word, and we just found out that he was on the spectrum.
And maybe because it's that fast, it's so impactful on parents. Because it's not like it takes years. No, you see it and you see it.
Yes.
And when you see it, you try to solve, because that's how we are. We try to solve things for our kids. And then when you get the big word, and the diagnosis is like, oh my God.
When my daughter had her regression, it was like 3 months before my mother-in-law called us out. And the word for me is I suspected. Way back in my mind, I suspected. But once my mother-in-law said it, like you said, like you can't unsee it. Because you're suspecting, but you want to just believe that it's a phase. Because my daughter's regression was at 2 years old. And at that age, like your little boy, like at that age, they're changing every single day, and it could just be a phase. But once the A word comes out, it's like it can't come out. Were you guys ever in denial, or you just like accepted it right from the very beginning?
I don't know. I think our denial was maybe a week. It was a very short
vacation.
It was a very short term. It was a very short term. So it happened at the same time. So if I put things into perspective, now that you're asking, it was like 3 months that we knew that something was wrong, but we wanted it not to be wrong, right? We wanted it to be different. So I remember Daniel sending me all these articles because he's always been an avid reader and always curious about things. And he was sending me all these articles about all these kids with autism that now were in college, or that now were professional, or that, which is what you kind of want to hang on to. That's, we know today, and I work at CARD today, and I know how wide the spectrum is, and that's not the case for everybody, and that's certainly not the case of our son. He has his challenges, but we were in a very short denial. I would say we got it really, really fast, and
I wouldn't say denial. I would say resistance.
Yeah, resistance is a better word.
Resistance.
I agree, resistance, or I think
and then
that's a perfect word.
I mean, especially around that time, and then a little bit afterwards, now you have to deal with the labels. Like, oh, he's going to be a genius. Oh,
yeah, I know.
Now that we're talking
all the cliches.
World Cup. Oh, yeah. No, you see, professional soccer players are autistic. Genius, Elon Musk, everybody. It's like, wait a minute. Now, the label is the one thing that you start to fight. Like, now, every kid is different. Every kid is different.
And then the plan, right? How are we tackling this? Okay, so we have this diagnosis. Now what? So I remember at the time because we're divorced and we were already thinking of separating at the time. And we said, okay, we're going to wait. We're going to put this separation on hold and just tackle this diagnosis as a team. And we did. We worked together as a team and getting all the services that Nico needed. It took a lot of, energy from both of us, time from both of us to get the team of professionals that we needed to help us with Nico. But I think in 3 or so months, we had it. We had ABA, we had the therapies. We already started the process of with early steps, then going through, the evaluation to get in the public school and to get him in pre-K services. Like we did all our steps. CARD was definitely fundamental and crucial at that stage. I got referred to CARD by my OBGYN, Dr. Carlos Garcia, who also has a child on the spectrum, is an adult now. And he told me, you have to go and see these people. And they really guided us along the way. And
here we are.
Yeah. Years later.
Let's talk about CARD. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I found out my daughter was autistic, I do what everybody did back then, Google, right?
Yeah.
And Google's good because you get, page after page after page of resources in Dade County, but it's too much. And I was like, you kind of just want to turn it off because it's too much. And I thought, well, you know what? My sister-in-law, Maria, she is a social worker at the public school systems. Let me call her. Maybe she knows what I can do. And she's in the ESC program. She's like, Victor, you do this, 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 and this.
You had a good guide. Thank
Well,
God.
she gave me a roadmap.
Yeah.
Right. And it was invaluable, that roadmap, because now I had a plan. I'm going to call this. I'm going to call APD. I'm going to da. And that's how I found CARD, actually, was because of my sister-in-law's recommendation. So it's so important for parents to plug into the system because Dade County is blessed with a great system. But sometimes I think it's too much in the sense, like I said, you Google it and there's so many things that like you just want to do this.
Those were sleepless nights Googling.
Yeah. Google is a problem. And now ChatGPT is even worse.
Yeah.
And that's when CARD comes in very handy. By the way, Center for Autism and Related Disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what CARD means. And I'm going to put it this way, because then that's how we became so effective at this, because we tackled this as a project. So it was like, we put our professional careers on to work, and we got like a project. She's the executioner. Like she was like, we have to do this. It was fantastic. But having a guide, it's important. It's so important. Like I'm gonna put it this way. If your car breaks down, if you Google, oh, my car is sounding like tuk, 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 tuk. If you Google that, you're gonna have so many possible answers that it's crazy. So if you have a guide that is going to tell you, hey, listen, you have to do this, then this, and not only give you what to do, like a map to follow, but different options. Hey, there's this for this step, and this for this step, and can guide you, because then again, every kid is different. And having a guide, having somebody to walk that walk with you, to go along with you, that makes a difference. That makes a hell of a difference. Just because you have somebody.
And being a sounding board too, right?
Yeah.
So because you have ideas, you get all this information. I remember I'm an night owl and he's an early bird. So you would see people, right, raising this kid with autism. I would spend sleepless nights Googling things, resources, learning about how to help my child better. And mind you, one of the most difficult battles that you have to fight is the insurance one.
Yes.
Because understanding how insurance works, I remember the first year of Nico's diagnosis, we had decided to take one of these plans that has a high deductible and a low monthly plan. Little did I know, I remember we made this decision thinking, well, we would have to be all involved in a horrible accident and then at that point pay this deductible. And it wasn't an accident, thank God, but it was a diagnosis that needed a lot of services. And we had to pay a lot of money the first year. So we learned our lesson and then we go. But having someone that would kind of guide you through the process of, oh, well, if you do this, you get this coverage. If you have this plan or ask about these things, because every plan is completely different. So having a sounding board, someone that knows what is out there and guides you and what steps to take, and also asks you the right questions, because you think you know what you want until someone asks something that you
That's
had
really
not
true. You think you know
thought
what you
about.
need, but then you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or you didn't know something else is better, right? You don't know that there's like a better option for that. You would just, you have this side, and then someone comes up and says, no, look, there's also all of these. So CARD definitely came in as a savior, an angel, because I was Googling all night. He was Googling all morning. And we were not only Googling, but making phone calls and finding out resources. But having someone to lay out all your resources and say, this is what I have. How do I organize this? And then put those skills to work, right? Any managerial skill that you have, put it to work on that project of that child.
And that sounding board that she's talking about, it's very important. And I'm going to bring an example here. I remember when he was
When you say sounding board, these are people that work at CARD. Do you call them counselors? Like, what do you call them?
It's a
caseworker.
Case manager.
Well,
a case manager. Okay.
It's a CARD specialist.
Okay.
That's the title, a CARD specialist. Because it's a specialist in the resources that they're out there in the community, both public and private. Public school, private school. We are in a parental choice state, so you have both avenues: scholarships, resources of therapies, specials, enrichment programs, doctors. Any resource that you need out there, a CARD specialist is well versed in all these areas to help a family get started. And I always tell the families that are my clients, right, within CARD, you might not need me for a couple of years. That means everything's going well. You're good. And all the work that we did right now is yielding its results. But then you face a new stage. Let's say I get a parent that just got a diagnosis or is unsure of the diagnosis, or the child has been diagnosed with developmental delay, but doesn't have a diagnosis of autism yet. And the parent is scared of that A word, of that diagnosis. So that's one family. And let's say that child is diagnosed with autism. Then they face the next stage, which is kindergarten, and then the next stage, which is middle school, puberty, adulthood. And in all that, journey and the lifespan, CARD is there. I'm not an expert in adults. I need my own CARD specialist for my own child that will help me walk the way of puberty, adolescence, and adulthood, because I haven't gone through that yet.
Imagine it as a Sherpa for autism, as the Sherpa team of autism. And it's exactly like that. I remember one case. Then again, every kid is different. And our kid, he talks. He's very
sometimes too much.
Yeah. But I remember when he was learning how to speak, we came with a question of, okay, what language? Because we are a bilingual household. And now trilingual household. So we started talking, okay, we understand that autism kids have communication challenges. So if they have communication challenges, what if we bring two languages? Are we going to make it harder for him? And then all the reading, all the Googling, all the everything. And then we started talking with Michael Alessandri. And then he said, you know what? If he can handle both languages, why not? Why not? He's fully bilingual now. And now he knows who to talk to in English and who to talk to in Spanish.
When I was a kid, the way my parents handled the Spanish-English, in the house, all Spanish. Outside, English. So like, you hear me, there's no accent. But and here's the funny thing. When I was a little kid, I had to go to summer school for first grade because I didn't speak any English. But then you get out of the house and you speak with your friends. And so, you know what? Speak Spanish in the house. And then your little boy, he will learn English outside.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And now he's fully bilingual. He speaks with teachers and friends in English.
And in the house with Spanish.
And he knows, I remarried and my husband doesn't speak Spanish, so we speak English at home. And he knows exactly what to tell in what language to who. So if I tell him, go in Spanish, go and tell Rafa such and such, he'll go and tell him in English, even though I gave him the direction in Spanish. So he's able to translate. So, and there's research, to prove that. So a card specialist would like tell the family, hey, here's the research that proves scientifically that you can actually learn 2, 3, or more languages, even being autistic. I had the opportunity to interview an autistic adult on mock-up interviews that we did for the adults. And she actually spoke English, Portuguese, and German. I happen to know a little bit of those languages as well. So she was, because she lived in 2 different countries. She lived in Brazil and she lived in, I think it was Switzerland or Germany, cannot remember clearly. And so she spoke all 3 languages.
Proper Deutsch.
And that's, and the more communication tools that you can give to your child, they have enough challenges communicating already. So the more tools that you can give them to communicate,
I agree.
the better.
Yeah, better.
So let's go back to CARD. When I first found CARD, the website, like become a CARD client, I thought, how much is it going to cost me? But it's free, as we all know. Now,
free of charge.
No cost.
Exactly. Free of charge to the families. No cost.
No cost. No cost to the families. It's not free.
So one of the advantages that I found with CARD, or it could be parent to parent or the advocacy network, is that as a parent with my daughter, I always wanted to put the best foot forward. Like, oh, she's good. Because, you want the very best for your kid. But then you realize when you get into the system and you're looking for services, if you make it sound like your kid is great, they're not going to get any services. Mm-hmm. So I had to pull back and be like, no, I have to be honest about her, where she's really at. Not where I want her to be, because when I would talk about her, I would talk about where I wanted her to be, not where she really was. So having a specialist is super important with the insurance. I'm sure you're having these conversations all the time with parents.
It is. And I guess you have to find that balance. And there's a word that I love, which is yet, the power of yet.
Yes.
So,
that's the name of your book.
Miss Melissa Izquierdo, who was Nico's speech language pathologist for a long time, she taught me this, the power of yet. I remember going and seeing at ICT, which is the center that Nico has been receiving speech and OT for a long time. And I would see the kids going to the social group, and I wanted him to participate in a social group. And I felt so bad because he wouldn't qualify and get accepted in one of these groups. And she always told me, he's not ready yet. He's not there yet. First, he needs to learn how to wait and take turns and sit quietly and maybe calm down a little and not be so impulsive. So he's not ready yet, but he'll get there. So this summer, for the first time, he's attending a social group. He's still, I would say, maybe the other kids there that participate could be less impacted or are more functional in their conversations but he's participating, he's getting it, and he's learning more and more. And he's so social and willing to, be with others. And it's just a question of understanding as a parent. And to go back to your question, that the word yet is so important, that they can get there with help, with work, with love, with training, but they're not there yet. And that's what you want the people that work with you to know. The school needs to know that they're not there yet. No, he doesn't write yet. No, he doesn't hold the pencil yet. So they work on that. If you only talk about what they can do well, then they're not going to work on what they need to get good at. And it's super important to work together with your team and finding that balance of always pushing and challenging, but at the same time, knowing that they need the support and they're not going to get there by themselves without, that support. So providing that support is crucial. It's very important.
Early on, my sister-in-law, she told me, Victor, things will get better. Because early on, my daughter's behavior, it was very challenging. One thing that she would suffer from was night terrors. You'd be in bed and all of a sudden she would just yell like somebody was murdering her.
Yeah.
And it would just come out of nowhere. And she would, and that's very disturbing as a parent. For your child,
it's scary.
For her little brother, it's waking him up. And then it's also it's ruining your sleep too. But she was right. Things got better. Like my daughter, she the night terrors just went away on their own. Also, a couple months ago, Dr. Michael, at one of the meetings, he was talking about one of his clients, and he used the phrase non-speaking. Mm-hmm. And that it grabbed me. Why? Because I would always tell people my daughter is non-verbal. Mm-hmm. But I never liked non-verbal because when she first got diagnosed or evaluated, she was non-verbal completely. Nothing came out of her mouth. But then little by little, she started to like echolalia, and then she would sing along with her iPad. So when I would say nonverbal, I never liked it because when you say nonverbal, to me, it's like a mute. Mm-hmm. So when Michael said non-speaking, I was like, well, that's better. But I didn't like that either because my daughter, she will speak, just not to you. Mm-hmm. So now what I say about my daughter, she's non-conversational. So like she's gotten better because when she had her regression, nothing. Because when she was 2, before the regression, she was meeting all the milestones, verbalizing appropriately for a little kid. And then with the regression, just like, it's kind of scary when your child just stops talking. But things got better. So it wasn't the power of the word yet, but yet.
No, we're in a campaign to teach. So when you are an autism dad or mom, you become automatically like an ambassador of these diagnoses. Because now you need to educate yourself so you can help others get the right terms that are kinder and more compassionate. So I try in my work with families and even out of work with just my friends and people that I know to get out of the system words like normal. There are no normal kids and abnormal kids. We create the norm as a community, as a society. This is the norm and we call it normal. So it's normal for me to wake up every day at 6:30. That's the norm. Okay. But our kids are not normal or abnormal. So we try to teach them is typically developing or neurotypical, which is a long word. And then maybe a kid with a condition, with a diagnosis, or with special needs, or with needs of special supports and systems. Same with the speaking, right? Because when you understand, you're verbal. You're verbal because you're understanding. And what are you understanding? Language. So what you are is non-speaking or non-conversational, or you can speak, but maybe it's challenging for you to hold a functional conversation for a longer period of time, but still you can communicate. So it's a journey of love to teach others with kindness also, because I think the other person also doesn't know the right term. How would they know? So it's your job as a parent to teach them with kindness. What is a better way of describing your child?
It's interesting because people ask me, how old is your son? Well, it's my daughter. Mm-hmm. People would just assume stuff. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Early on in the podcast, I had these 2 young ladies on the show. They're called Sophisticats. They play violins. And they're high-functioning autistic. And they taught me a lot about the language of autism. Like when I was early on in this journey, people told me, you don't say autistic person. You say person with autism, person first language. I was like, okay, but I never liked that. I'll be honest with you. Then these girls, they're like, I don't like person with autism. It sounds like I'm carrying luggage around the airport with me. I'm autistic. So they helped me to see that the people that were calling me out saying that's not how you say it, they were very well-meaning. But you can be very well-meaning and be wrong.
Yeah.
So now what I see is that if you want to use person first language, fine.
Exactly.
But I talk about my autistic daughter. I never say my daughter with autism. Are you guys the same with Nico?
We do both. Well, I do both. I don't know what you...
It doesn't matter.
For me, it does.
Yeah.
It's
I do both to just give confidence to the person that I'm talking to that I'm okay with either one. Because that's not going to change who he is. And
or who we are as parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not, I don't feel offended if you call my son autistic or a kid with autism, or people feel, I think we were discussing earlier, the A word. It has a little bit of a taboo around it.
It has a lot of taboo.
So you need to give everybody their due process and time to come across, different situations that will make them mature and feel more comfortable with autism. And everybody's process is different. So when Nico is older and we are able to get from him how does he want to be called, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, we use either one so people know that we're comfortable with whatever it is. And yes, there are a lot of people that like to correct. I like to be open and accepting, and understand that as long as it's not offending or you're making someone feel bad, you also need to understand that everybody's going to feel bad for different things. So let's say when you call someone high functioning or low functioning, that's from my perspective, right? I feel that they are high functioning or low functioning. So also the community of autism is moving towards saying needs more support,
yes,
or needs less support.
Yes.
But if I have always heard high functioning, it takes me some time to kind of, change the way that I had always said it, to say it in a different way. I don't mean wrong. You don't mean wrong by saying high functioning or low functioning. You're in the process of like understanding. And I like to take things like with a lot of calm. Autism has, if there's one thing that autism has taught me, it's to be more patient. To be more patient and to understand that everyone's journey is different, and to take things a little slower, at a slower pace, if that helps.
No, and I love to take that what you just said, because we keep talking about all the things that we can do for our kids and for people with autism, and how we can talk about acceptance and how we can make the world a better place. But I always like to talk about what they are doing for us, because now we are more tolerant, empathetic, understanding, takes things slower,
patient.
Yes. And I got a question for you. What if we make the whole world, not only for autism, and slower, empathetic.
Pathetic.
I know, empathetic.
Empathetic.
Yeah. It sounds like you're saying pathetic.
I know, empathetic. What if everybody were like that?
Well, listen, you know
Very
what?
well.
My little boy is 7. He's neurotypical. His older sister is autistic, and it's changing him in ways that we don't even know. He, a couple of years ago, he asked me a question, and I said, because your sister told me. And this is what he said: but Chloe doesn't talk. He's 5 years old, and he's saying, but Chloe doesn't talk. And then I told this story to my wife, and she started crying.
No, I would too. No.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those just natural stories that you just you got to hold that one in. But it's changing him in ways that we can't even imagine. And it's making the world a better place, because I've seen siblings of kids who have older or younger, brothers and sisters with disabilities. They're different. They're just different. And it's just making the world slower. Empathetic.
Empathetic. I'm going to put it this way. I mean, I got my PhD and my doctorate in education just because I want to understand how people learn.
I know, and that's amazing. Let me tell you, Daniel, that's amazing, man.
No.
Yes.
And because I want to understand how he learns and how everybody learns. Because I believe they're in a mission too, to make the world a better place.
And so are the parents.
Yeah.
Empathetic.
Yes.
Understanding.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we keep talking about neurodivergence and neurotypical. We are all different. I need assistance, and I'm neurotypical. If you put me in a kitchen, I need her assistance.
Well, I love the kitchen because I love to cook. You believe it or not, Nico is learning to cook his little things too.
I believe it. Okay. Well, this has been a great conversation. If people want to get a hold of you, it's what's that website?
So it's card.miami.edu.
Okay.
That's the website of CARD. And I encourage every parent out there, either if you are just suspecting that your child might have a diagnosis of autism and you're not sure, or you do have a diagnosis but you've never reached out, or you have an adult with autism, and never heard of CARD or never, thought that you needed CARD, I encourage you to just register as a
free of charge.
It's free of charge for families, yes.
No cost.
Free of charge for anybody.
No cost.
Well, for the families that, yeah.
Or the adults.
Or the adults,
Okay.
exactly.
Right.
Or the organizations that we also serve. And we go and because it's not only families that we help, we also help organizations.
Yes.
Exactly. And organizations to be prepared to work with autistic individuals or individuals with autism or whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, I encourage you to, it's CARD, CARD.miami.edu. And there you can register, and you can, even if you don't have anybody in your family that is autistic, but you want to have your company be a better place. You want a training on autism because you want to hire people with autism. You think you could give them an opportunity. You can also get our help to train your company to employ people with autism.
Because that's exactly what it is. I told you, Sherpas. I mean,
Sherpas.
We need
empathetic Sherpas.
Regardless of the level of support that they need.
And we always talk about kids, but adults, they also need help. They need jobs. They need housing. They need, come and join us. Because, I mean, you're going to have Sherpas like Daniela, and you're going to have people like us having fun in the dad's group.
We have to fun to the moms group. To the moms out there,
it's a competition. It's a competition between who has the more fun.
It's a collaboration.
Well, it's been a great conversation. We are really over time. So let's turn to the camera and we'll sign off. This has been the Autism Podcast with Daniela and Daniel from CARD. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.